welcome to today's episode of Care Sandwich. It's been a minute since I've recorded, and I'm so excited that I was inspired to record a brand new episode after running into Hayden Haskins and learning all about these neat things he's doing with AI for law firms. And before I bring him on the virtual stage, I want to play this video for you so that you can remember what Care Sandwich is all about.
Welcome to Care Sandwich, the podcast where we dive into the success journeys of law firm owners across the country. I'm Margarita Everline, your host and the founder of Marketing Boss, a fractional chief marketing officer firm for law firms. On this show, we'll explore the challenges, strategies, and victories that have shaped law firms and how they wrap every interaction with care. Because we believe that caring isn't just a value, it's a strategy for success. So grab your favorite sandwich, sit back, and let's dig into a conversation filled with insight, inspiration, and of course, a lot of care.
Hello, hello. So help me welcome to the stage Hayden Haskins.
Hey, everyone.
What's up, HH? It's good to see ya.
Yeah, good to see you too. It was good running into you the other day.
No, definitely. Yeah. We were having a fun chat backstage about names. So y'all don't forget Hayden before the whole Aiden trend. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been working on some really interesting things for law firms using AI. And I just had to have this conversation with you on Care Sandwich because here at Marketing Boss, we're super passionate about two things: marketing and sales. Because I don't know about you, well, I'm pretty sure you, Hayden, but I don't know about you who are listening. Do you realize that so many law firms focus so much on marketing and they completely forget about all the money that's sitting in their pipeline already and what they can do to just convert more of what they're already getting? Like, it just blows my mind how many law firms are just focused on marketing, leads. And then there's this whole other piece of the puzzle that they're ignoring. And I understand why, right? Because we think, oh, well, if they're calling, it must mean that they're interested. Or if they're calling and I've already placed somebody in that seat to answer the phone, they'll just do their thing. And I already told them how to qualify the case. And they think that that's all there is to it. And so much slips through the cracks. And Hayden, tell our audience what you're seeing and why you created what you created, and then what did you create?
Yeah, so what I've seen over the years, I've done legal marketing for, I guess, 12, 13 years at this point. And this was a thing that a theme that we saw repeat across all kinds of firms, right? You could have two marketing campaigns running for very similar firms in very similar markets. One firm is signing a bunch of cases and you're the best thing since sliced bread. And the other firm is going, hey, I don't know, we're not signing any more cases. And the difference would always be how they're treating people when they call. You are absolutely spot on with, some firms just treat it as, well, if they called me, that means that they want to hire me. And in the age of online search, that's not always the case, right? They might have just called you because you showed up first. So it's extremely important to meet them where they are. When they reach out to you, they are ready to talk. They might only have that 20-minute block, of their day where they're ready to talk to an attorney. Similarly, the product that I've been working on and that we launched last year, it's called Speed.ai. It's an intake. It's essentially like an expert intake manager listening to and grading your agent performance on all calls. And the big feature that everyone loves is called Lead Rescue, where it'll identify a qualified opportunity that called you and give you a chance to reach back out to that person before they go and hire someone else and get them signed up. And we've seen firms have tons of success with that, right? But what you were saying earlier about more leads. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I need to say this again for the people in the back. Guys, ladies, what he is saying is that he has a software that in real time can tell you when a lead that should have been signed up is not signed up. I just wanted to make sure the audience
Yes,
understood
100%.
that
Yeah.
in real
No, but
time.
the point that you made earlier about, everyone, like, the big thing that everyone wants is more leads, right? And, if, you know, I worked on this thing probably a year and a half, and we went back and forth on, like, how it should work, what it should be, like, what all the little features and micro interactions should be. Um, and Henry Ford had a saying where he said, if people asked me what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse, right? If people asked
Mm.
us, or if we asked people what they wanted from us, they would have said more leads, right? They wouldn't have said, "Hey, I want a thing that listens to all my calls and qualifies all the leads that come in." But since we've launched, we've rescued over $160 million in case value for the firms that use us. The average firm that uses Speed.ai rescues $400 to $500,000 in fees. We are mainly focused in personal injury, but they rescue $400 to $500,000 in fees in their first year of using the software. And not only that, these are real people that call a law firm in their darkest hour, and they usually have exhausted all other avenues to try to solve their problem. They see you as the expert. They see you as the solution. They reach out. I mean, I've heard instances where an intake agent told someone that they didn't have a case, and it was incorrect, right? But for some of those people, if they call, they say, "Hey, I'm going to reach out to a lawyer to see if I have a case." If they hear, "Sorry, you don't have a case," that's the end of the road for them. They're going to go, "Okay, well, I'm just going to
Yep.
eat these bills. I'm just going to, I guess, be 3 years behind in my financial goals, whatever financial goals I had, because now I have all these medical bills, all this missed work, all these things piling up, and the insurance company isn't giving me a good settlement offer." And I reached out to this law firm, and they said that I didn't have a case. So, all that to say, look, if you truly care about the people calling your firm, if you truly want to help solve their problem, um, I think it's a no-brainer to have at least a second pair of ears on every single call, just to understand if you miss something, or maybe you misquoted the statute of limitations. There's a lot of ways that uh, intake agents can get things wrong. We're human, we make mistakes.
And I like that it's in real time, because where we get into the intake space over here at Marketing Boss is in actually training people in the psychology
Hmm.
of the sale. And
Hmm.
urgency is key. So we teach you need to answer the phone within 3 rings or less. We also teach that, yes, people are calling you, but most callers are psychologically conflicted, meaning they want to hire an attorney, but they're trying to talk themselves out of it because they don't want to. They don't enjoy the process. Some people have self-esteem issues, self-sabotage going on, and all that is happening. And with your software, I like that it will instantly, as soon as that call is over or shortly thereafter, send an alert so that if the intaker didn't nail it, somebody else maybe can try to rescue the lead, which lead rescue is that
Yeah,
feature. So,
yeah,
pretty self-explanatory. And the amount of money, again, $160 million. I feel like I should do this. 160
yeah,
million for those of you that understand the Austin Powers
yeah.
reference. And the average is 400 to 500K in fees. So
Yes.
if you're listening to this and you're like, all right, that's a no-brainer, I need this software, how can people get started? I know you guys offer a free trial, which is cool. Like,
Yes.
that's always a green flag for me. Like, when somebody's so confident in what they're doing that they'll just give it to you for free because they know you're not going anywhere, it's going to be like crack. Like, that's very
Yeah.
impressive. So how can people get started?
Yeah. So, like you said, the trial is 100% free. We don't take any payment information up front. We are just that confident that you'll use the product, you maybe rescue a couple cases, and you go, okay, this is something that, pays for itself. Hopefully it pays for the whole year within, your trial, right? But you just go to speed.ai There's no .com. There's no anything. Just Speed.ai. There's a big yellow button on there. It says try it free for 14 days. You'll get a call with a person on our account management team. They'll get you set up. It takes a couple minutes. We'll get some info from you on your case qualifiers. We'll make sure that the analysis is spot on to how you analyze cases in your firm. And we'll get your team trained up on exactly how to use it. And what we'll do, we'll check in with you throughout the trial. We'll kind of highlight a couple leads that it sees as you maybe have lost. Because our ideal scenario is you rescue 2-3 cases during that trial, and that, it makes, all kinds of financial sense for you to go, okay, this makes a ton of sense. It's already paid for itself. We'll move forward. So if you want to try it, it's absolutely free for 2 weeks. No strings attached whatsoever.
I love it. And if you're using this tool and you find that there are patterns with your intake team and they're not nailing empathy, they're not nailing other skills that'll help them sign up these cases, then that's a really, really good point to reach out to Marketing Boss for the Connect Convert training, because we can definitely train your folks, give them one-on-one coaching, and go over all of that. We don't want you to sit with a problem for too long when it's solvable. So Hayden, what is your background? Tell us your story.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't just wake up one day, and I know you look 15, but you've been around for a while. You didn't just wake up one day and decided to go into like this space. Tell us about your journey.
Yeah, well, I was kind of bobbing around after college, and I use college loosely because I dropped out. But I was kind of bobbing around. I was doing, political campaign work. I was working with a recording studio, clocking hours over there, selling, T-shirts, and I was doing a little bit of everything, right? And I ended up working on President Obama's campaign in 2012. Shipped up to North Carolina for kind of the majority of 2012 for kind of the final get out the vote effort, and then moved back home after that. I was like, okay, I'm not going back to my college town. Moved back home. Didn't really have anything planned. I got an offer to work on a governor's race up in Virginia, and our grandmother, who I was very close with at the time, was getting very old, and I told her that I was going to move up to Virginia to take this job. And it was a very good paying job. In Spanish, she was like, just as soon as I get him back, they're taking him away from me. And I was like, nope, not doing that. And at that time, David, my brother and my co-founder in Speed.ai, was starting his agency, Drive Law for Marketing. And he was like, hey, I think he had 1, maybe 2 clients. He was like, I need someone who can do videos and can do websites. And in high school, I had a website where I would make little skateboard videos, me and all my friends. And this was pre-YouTube, if it tells you how old I am. But he was like, you know how to do that stuff still, right? And I was like, I can figure it out. And so I started, putting in a few hours there. And then, we grew that agency to what it is today. And this was the intake problem, over the last 13 years of my career in legal marketing has been a constant. It's been a constant, on the agency side, you want to show that you're delivering the leads, but the law firm has to do their part in closing those leads. And I do appreciate that you call it sales, because that is what it is, right? Intake is an inside sales department in a law firm. I like the fact that that's no longer a dirty word. I mean, I think 2, maybe 3 years ago, it would have been considered one. But, it's incredibly important, right? These folks, most of the time, they don't know that they can hire, especially in my area, PI. We think it's common knowledge, but most folks don't understand how contingency fee works and how PI lawyers get paid. They think that they're going to have to spend their money out of pocket, and they're going, I can't pay my medical bills. I can't pay my rent this month. How am I going to afford a lawyer?
Yeah.
And so, I took an immense amount of pride from, the work that we do and the people that ultimately are helped with this. I mean, it's cool to make, lawyers money, but, you know, whatever fees we rescue for a law firm, take that number, multiply it times two, and that's what's going into the pockets of their clients. So, you know, I'm a bit of a rambler, right? But that's a bit about my background. Doing the legal marketing thing for a while and just seeing this problem over and over and over again. And I've encouraged that the industry has been taking to it, and that it's been solving the problem for the firms that use it.
This is great. And one thing that sticks out to me about your mindset, and now hearing your story and how you arrived to what you're doing now, makes total sense. What you said about Ford, right? It seems to me like you're the kind of person that really wants to help these law firm owners. And so naturally it led you into this space because you identified a need that they hadn't even identified. And I can relate to that. I think that those of us that do different things, that innovate, like my business is a CMO business. Those aren't really very common, right? And I'm like, I could have, there are ways to make money, right? And yeah. I'm like, no, like this is what I know they need. And so let me focus on this, let me focus in this space. So I really appreciate that. That really stood out to me about your story, about your character. And I think that matters because in the marketing space, as a CMO, I'm asked all the time to vet vendors. And that's one of the things that I look for with vendors. Like, what is their actual story? What is their actual background? Why are they doing this? Because that gives me the security in the marketing space to know that, hey, this is somebody who can innovate. And that's important. I know you've seen this in the marketplace. You have agencies and other vendors in the legal space that are really killing it. And then something changes and they don't keep up. They're resting on their laurels and they're just living off of the reputation that they built when they were out there grinding, and they really don't care to innovate. And so that's why I think that character trait is important. The fact that you're an innovative thinker, that you have this background, I think is really important for folks to consider. There are other companies that do what you do, and I've met others. And I think that out of all of them, like, I really do feel like your agency, your background, and the way you've been treating your business is really reflective of, okay, here's somebody that even when stuff changes later, I know they're going to be able to pivot, or I can guess, right? I can't foresee the future, but pretty good chance because it seems to be part of the personality. So Hayden, I absolutely love this conversation. I want to encourage law firm owners, if you're listening and you're in the PI space or even other contingency based, right?
Yeah, any contingency fee-based practice area.
Go ahead and reach out, do a trial of this and see what it does for your business. Yes, it's important to get leads. The cost per case is rising. It feels like every day as the market gets more and more saturated. And one more thing that I'll touch on when it comes to sales. Sales is definitely seen like something that's separate from law. There's this belief that sales is beneath an attorney. Sales is beneath a law firm, because we have this idea that like sales is this like manipulation thing. And I think those two things are connected. So I do want to clarify that as you're using this software and you see that your leads are not converting, follow up with your team, not with language of you should manipulate people better, you should convince them better. At Connect Convert, we joke that our program is called Connect Convert, not Convince Convert, because I think sales done right means being a law firm that does good work. Sales done right means being a law firm that is consistent with what they promise and then what the experience that they give. And then sales done right is just being a clear communicator and actually caring about the person on the other side, trying to figure out how to solve this problem. So I think, I wanted to get that out and definitely encourage those of you that are listening that as you use this tool, think about then the data that you're going to get is probably, like gonna scare you, but it'll be good data of like, oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
gonna realize how much money you were leaving on the table. But the good news is that now you'll know and you can do something about it. So Hayden, I have one more. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. One of the cool things that we've been able to do with this as well is you can find what you're losing, you can find what problems you need to fix, but also you can see folks that are, performing really well, doing their job really, really well, and treating
Mhm.
the people who call your firm very well. Because I feel like intake is one of those departments in a firm that really only gets attention for being bad. If it's great and everything's
All
running as it
right.
should, people are just kind of like, "Oh yeah, sure, it's great."
Yeah.
Um, but it really helps provide information for that positive reinforcement of the
Yeah.
behaviors that you'd like to see. Um, so yeah, just wanted to highlight that because it's not just
That's
a
a good
punitive tool;
point.
it's a great tool to like celebrate the folks in your team that are doing really good work.
That is such a good point, and to retain good employees and
Hmm.
to, yeah, like that's really valuable. See, you just, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the way you think. I love your style, and I really do hope that folks get in touch with you. One more
Absolutely.
opportunity for you to share something cool about yourself, and I ask this of every guest: what is your favorite sandwich?
I was thinking a long time about this answer. Truly, it's a chicken salad sandwich on a croissant. Um, but if I was gonna, say like a funny answer, the Tony
Yeah,
Soprano, right? Gabagool, provolone, and vinegar peppers.
yeah, that's my favorite. Like, I love it. Anything Italian. That's cool. I love it. I love it. I guess I'm a mobster. Hayden, this has been great. For those of you that tuned in, remember his contact info. Just rewind the video a little bit. We'll also put it in the notes when we post this. And get in touch with him. Try this out, and we'll see you on the next episode of Care Sandwich. Hayden, I'll see you backstage.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Care Sandwich. Remember, the way we care for our clients, our teams, and ourselves can make all the difference in our success. Until next